Every good afternoon, it's 2 p.m. Welcome to Market View. Today's episode is brought to you by the Eswatini National Petroleum Company. My name is Lunge Lele Makakula. The IRS and SARS today launched the release of findings of the time-release study as a first step to facilitate the seamless flow of trade through Southern African Customs Union SACU borders. The World Customs Organization time-release study is a strategic and internationally recognized tool to measure the actual time required for the release and or clearance of goods from the time of arrival until the physical release of cargo. It also aims to find bottlenecks in the trade flow and identity measures to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of border procedures. Speaking at Ngwenya Border, the co-chairperson of the National Trade Facilitation Committee, Brighton Nkambule, said the study will play a huge role in the uptake of economic activity in SACU countries. We will connect with our in-house business journalist, Nelly Siwe Ndlangamandla, who is at Bad Plus in Mpumalanga, where the launch is happening, and she'll give us an update. And in other news, the Minister of Finance, Neil Rakenbeck, says government will continue broadening her borrowing base to avoid risk concentration. And then later, we will take a look at the market performance. Let's go for business news. Government will continue broadening her borrowing base to avoid risk concentration. The Minister for Finance, Honorable Neil Rakenbeck, explained this when highlighting some of the decisions by government to continue borrowing from different monetary organs.
Broadening our borrowing base is always a wise thing to do, be it household level, municipal level or government level. And so we'll continue broadening our base wherever we can to spread one's risk and to be able to not have what you call risk concentration. And so for that reason, it's very positive from that point of view. We'll continue raising money internationally. One must keep in mind, even though we'll probably only increase our total debt with around 1 billion emalangeni in the year that we are in, we are still raising around 3.5 billion because we are repaying 2.5 billion of debt. So what I'm saying is, as we are repaying debt on the one side, we are continuing to raise new debt for fresh projects. So as we speak, we'll be raising money from at the moment, we are raising money from the World Bank. There are projects we're looking at with the World Bank to possibly fund certain projects. Very much the ADB. So as you say, African Development Bank with these lovely Mkondo Ngoma projects, these irrigation projects to work on as a country. Money will be coming from that. And constantly still look at, do we need roads? Do we need infrastructure? Those will always continue. And we have about a 2.5 billion window of repayments that opens up every year going forward, which we'll continue to loan money for.
Hey you!
Yes, you. Have you paid your TV license?
Did you know that by paying for your TV license fees, you will be complying with the laws that govern television possession, in particularly the Swaziland Television Authority Act of 1983 and its regulations? It is a legal obligation.
Paying for your TV license can have a positive spin-off, as the money collected from TV license fees goes a long way in assisting Eswatini Television Authority procure appealing and relevant content to broadcast on the channel.
So now, these fees also increase purchasing of local content from independent producers, which helps ensure that the arts and film industry in the country is well supported thus far, ensures the creation of jobs for eMaswati. The payment of TV license fees goes a really long way in such endeavors as well as nation building.
A TV license costs 180 emalangeni per year per device, and for other accessories such as a decoder or njinja, it costs 50 emalangeni per device per year.
By paying for your TV license,
you will be doing the right thing.
Ujala masada mahle kunathi lesa.
Sabatandi ukuthi njengalokhu
Sivile sive sithi khulumeni.
Welcome back. You're still watching Market View, sponsored by the Eswatini National Petroleum Company. The Eswatini Revenue Service, in collaboration with the South African Revenue Service, will today launch the time release study, which will play a major role in facilitating seamless flow of trade in the Saku region. Speaking at the Ngwenya border, the co-chairperson of the National Trade Facilitation Committee, Brightwell Nkambule, says the study will play a huge role in the uptick of economic activity in Saku countries. The committee will be releasing the findings today at Bad Plus, South Africa.
The world continues to evolve significantly, and the World Trade Organization emphasizes the importance of collecting data if trade is to be improved. The Commissioner General of the Eswatini Revenue Service, Brightwell Nkambule, explains the importance of the time release study.
We are traveling to meet our counterparts, our South African counterparts. The South African Revenue Service is the border management agency, and we are traveling as the National Trade Facilitation Committee of Eswatini to launch the time release study. The time release study is a project that was funded by WCO with His Majesty's Revenue and Customs Services last year. The purpose of the study is to identify bottlenecks between our two borders, Ngwenya on our side and Oshuk on the other side. A point to add is that we picked up this border because it is of great economic significance to us as Eswatini. It accounts to almost 80% of trade when compared to all the other borders. Hence, it is very important. And the immediate benefit of the study is that once the recommendations have been identified, we should see an ease in the congestion that we've regularly seen here at the border.
Many headwinds plagued the Saku economies at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, resulting in unprecedented economic shocks. The Eswatini Revenue Service says the time release study will help in boosting economic activity in the country. For Market View, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Ngwenya.
It's 8 minutes after 2. Let's quickly go for an ad break. We'll continue the show.
Ujala masada mahle kunathi lesa.
sabatandi ukuthi njengalokhu
Sivile sive sithi khulumeni.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
Welcome back. You're still watching Market View this afternoon, brought to you by ENPC. Thank you for staying with us. Right about this moment, we shall go to my colleague Nelsiwe Ndlangamandla, who is at Bad Plus. What is the update there since the Eswatini Revenue Service, in collaboration with the South African Revenue Service, are launching today a release study which will play a major role in facilitating a seamless flow of trade in the Saku region. The CEO or the co-chairperson of the National Trade Facilitation Committee, Bratel Nkambule, spoke at the border gate this morning and said the study will play a huge role in the uptick of economic activity in Saku countries. All right, Snelly, thank you for joining us this afternoon. How are things going there? Sabakhonile ni release le study kuva nje ukuthi ngabe vele. What are the findings of the study?
Thank you so much, Lungelele. Ngibuselene mbukele ekhaya. Lesikubona kakhulu indaba yokuthi le study lesi njengoba ake achaza babe Brightwell, the Commissioner General of ERS, ukuthi study lesiqale eminyakeni lophelile lapho khona bekubukwa khona ukuthi engabe kungena nekuphuma kwempahla even laseNingizimu Afrika naleswatini kuhamba kanjani. Siyazi-ke ukuthi kaSAFU ikakhulu Lamave are trader about 80% of the imports and exports ukhanza khona ukuthi a trader Lamave within the Saku region. Lokusho kona ukuthi ke Lamave bewafuna kubona ukuthi how can they address the bottlenecks lekakhona ekuthenini kugcine sekutrade kakahle ikakhulukazi kulamave lawa lapho khona le study sendiwe kuma-exports la over 322 23 la ngenako nalaphumako kulamave kwaphinde kwabukwa the process labawathathako khona eborder. So labo labaletha wona lawo ma-imports nema-exports injongo lenkulu yalo msebenzi ngilokuthi kuqinisekiswe ukuthi nangabe utawutrader in the Saku region awugcini mhlawumbe sowuhlala sikhathi leside eborder. We know ukuthi ema-truck labakhona lengcabo engwenya nje kuphela loku-oshuk even leNingizimu Afrika are about 600 a day. So they really needed to ensure ukuthi bayabuka ukuthi what more can they do to ensure a seamless trade. Lo msebenzi lona wenziwa ngiyo ISRAS eSouth Africa, uphinde wenziwe ngiyo i-World Customs Organization lebuke wona ema-border, kuphinde kube nayo-ke i-Eswatini Revenue Service.
All right, thanks so much, Nelly. Sama kusiniketa leyo update this afternoon. Seke breaks tabe siqhubeke ne-in-house economist Mr. Spear.
Ujala masada mahle kunathi
Sabatandi ukuthi njengaloku
Sibile sive sitikhulume.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7#. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. You can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any NetBank branch using our TV license account number 1199 43037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
You are watching Market View, sponsored by the Eswatini National Petroleum Company. I'm now joined by our in-house economist, Mr. Sanelis. We are continuing our conversation in our time release study. Lapho khona ARS ahlangene na SARS but plus kuyo launch noma ke kuyotholakala ema findings ukuthi yini letholakele. Mr. Sbia, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the program. I think ngaba kuva nje ukuthi I think Mr. Brightwell did mention ukuthi products like exportwago account to 80% of trade lapha even. How important is it ukuthi le study lesisendiwe and kulungiselwa amaphutha lakhona?
Thank you, Lulu, and good afternoon to umlaleli ekhaya. No, kumcoka kakhulu lokuthi siwa improve our border operations. So one of the important things lekufuna study nguloko ukuthi how long does it take for a thing to for a truck exporter ukuthi khona lokuphuma lapho. Again, so it's very much important so that we ease our sendele ukuthi kube lula for us to trade as a country.
All right. Kuva nje Mr. Sibeka ukuthi like nasibuka nje vele umnotho even ngabe kusita kanganani thina vele makutaba nale seamless flow of trade lapha even eSwatini makuphuma ama products from Eswatini to South Africa.
So when you look at our economy, we are a trading economy. So it is important that we do whatever possible to facilitate trade as a country. So this is one of the efforts towards trade facilitation. As you've rightly said, our country, the export sector accounts for roughly 8% of our GDP, and Eswatini is a net importer, a net exporter. So we are basically a trading company, a trading economy as a country. So it is important that we do these time release studies and over and above doing it, and then implement the recommendations to make sure that we facilitate trade across our borders, such that kungabi ukuthi sekabambekela ngakithi lama commodities akasakhona ukuhamba and exporters are losing out in the markets because, time efficiency is critical in the export market, and more especially when your commodities are going across oceans and across seas. So that means somewhere, and also with the people who are buying our commodities, markets are very easy to move. If you are not efficient in your delivery process, then you'd find that the market would have to find an alternative because we cannot keep waiting for you.
Yeah. So for the flawless trade kuhambiswa kwamagoods ngabe vele mhlawumbe what is the average time like kumele ukuthi mhlawumbe maloli asuke ngalana ahambise products leya South Africa?
So in terms of that, we cannot say we have what we call an average time right now. I wouldn't be privy to that. But what we are saying as economists is let it not take time, You want your truck to be there and not spend hours on the border. So let it be easy. The truck may figure it clears within the hour and they're able to go. And we've seen the SRA or the ERS integrating, electronic clearance such that was supposed to actually minimize the amount of time the trucks are spending at the border. So once you have those things in place, trucks shouldn't really take long at the border. They should be able to be held there for an hour at most and connect to the so that you also minimize the risks on the side of the truck drivers. So if you have an efficient system at the border, it's also very easy to project as a floats and sago. Would see how long should when my goods are going to probably get to the market.
Yeah, probably the last question, Mr. Sbiya, do you think this was a good move by IRS and SARS lokuthi kwendiwe this study and kutholakala ama findings and also nje letinkinga letikhona kude titawukhona kulungiswa?
I would say, studies are always a good thing, Lulu. We always do studies, but what then matters the most is the implementation of those recommendations from those studies. But what I like about this is it's a collaboration between the two revenue authorities, the two port control agencies. So what we are seeing there is it's going to be relatively easier for bottlenecks that were found on the South African side to be sorted out very fast, and also bottlenecks that were found on our side to be sorted out very fast. So we do appreciate that collaboration. It would do wonders for the markets and also for the implementation of the findings of the study.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Spear. Let's go for an ad break. Nasbuya, the latest on the performance of the market Lomuhla.
Ujala masada mahle kunathi lesa.
Sabatandi ukuthi njengalokhu
Sibili sive sikhulume.
Welcome back again. You're still watching Market View. It is brought by the ENPC, Eswatini National Petroleum Company. Welcome back again, Mr. Sbiya. Sibuka ukuthi market perform kanjani this Monday afternoon. Sibuka nje kwecala ama currencies kubona ukuthi the USD nali comparison elilangeni lime kanjani. Kubuka nje ukuthi why is the USD and euro strengthening against lilangeni this afternoon?
Yes, Lulu. Thank you. Like you rightly pointed it out, Lilangeni has weakened a bit against major currencies, but what we are seeing is it's still weakening around a relatively strong point. So even though the markets are showing those signs of weakness, we are still around the regions which we had never seen before. So the major cause for this, Lulu, is basically, what we are seeing happening across stock markets in the US and London and also in across Asia. So that is purely for the reason that we are seeing Lilangeni losing a bit. So that's because we've seen trading strengthening in those global markets. So we know with the optimism that the interest rates are going to begin declining over the short to medium term. And yeah, that is actually improved, the demand for those foreign currencies. So that's why we are seeing those slight losses from the Lilangeni today.
We're also seeing a decline of the Japanese yen. What is causing the Japanese yen to weaken against the Lilangeni?
The Japanese yen, Lulu, is their story is one of a policy shift. So the markets are still trying to adjust to the new interest rate regime in Japan. So what the markets still haven't figured out the long-term policy goal from the Japanese. And what the markets were expecting was, with this decline that we are seeing in the yen, there's an expectation from the Bank of Japan to actually prop up the markets by buying more of the dollar, by taking out the dollar and buying the yen back from the markets just to prop up against major currencies. But we have not seen that happen. So the Bank of Japan is taking a wait and see type of approach towards the yen, and such that ever since they did that in the couple of months, it's been on this downward spiral, with the hope that, the micro nitty-gritties within Japan were going to eventually come back into play and prop the market up. So we are still just waiting for that. So if this persists, we do expect the Bank of Japan to come back into the markets and really just try to prop up the yen.
All right, Mr. Svena, speaking about commodities, there's a gold increase. What is driving the 0.99% rise in gold prices? And also, oil fluctuations. What factors are causing the slight decline in Brent crude prices?
Thank you, Lulu. So when we start with gold, the markets are still waiting to see what the Federal Reserve Bank is going to say regarding interest rate cuts. So, there have been those recommitments, the signs, the signals in the market are showing that the interest rate should begin to ease, sometime this year. So the gold has gained against that. But what has happened is those bets are now off September and later in the year. So right now in the short to medium term, gold is expected to gain, right? So like last week we had said we expected it to get to the 2,400 mark, and it did exactly that, why purely because the markets are waiting to see. And as we are waiting to see what the Federal Reserve minutes that are coming up today are going to actually direct and what they're going to say. So, gold is still gaining on the background of that uncertainty around the interest rates. And then when it comes to the issue of Brent crude, it's more just an issue of demand, Lulu. Demand seems to be a bit fluctuating right now, with the US showing, signs of improving demand, and while at the same time the volumes that side have gone down. So what we are seeing is just that response in the market, really trying to make sure that if we see more demand coming out of the market against this current supply, then we are going to. So that's why we are seeing those fluctuations, and that it's staying well above the 70 mark purely because of those demand dynamics with the aviation industry, still trying to catch up to COVID levels. So now with these interest rates about to come down, so we should expect travel to start up and to start booming probably in the later half of the year. And that's what the markets are pricing in, to say if we are not seeing any changes in the supply of oil, then we are going to have a problem meeting that demand. So that's what keeps propping the price up and down right now.
All right, let's move on to international markets. We are seeing mixed performances and positive trends on the US markets, the European markets, and Asian markets. Ingabe, what is the overview of our international markets today?
All right, thank you, Lulu. So if you look at the American markets, you can see that the positive trend has returned to Wall Street. But what we are seeing there is, the markets have broken records with the Dow Jones well above the 18,000 mark, and the S&P 500 still maintaining that 5,300 region. So what we are seeing is though markets are cautious and are waiting heavily for the Federal Reserve minutes, which will give an indication of what the Federal Reserve thinks around the interest rates. Because that's what really drives the markets these days, our interest rates expectations. But over and above that, we are seeing certain companies coming out with better earnings within in the US, and that is what is now maintaining those positive gains. Because in the uncertainty around interest rates, the best companies can do is to be profitable so that they make money because they can't borrow money. So what we are seeing now is companies like NVIDIA will be releasing profits, and they will be releasing their quarterly reports, and they are indicative of a positive trend.
All right, lastly, let's take a look. Okay. The JSE.
Yeah, so coming to Europe, again, what we are seeing there is a positive trend across the spectrum. So that is actually driven largely by the uncertainty, and the Bank of England has somehow come out to say they are foreseeing interest rates cut well into the future. So there is some positive and some stern news going into the market when we say by the summer we're expecting to start cutting interest rates, compared to a situation in the US where it says we are still on this wait and see type of trajectory. But within Europe, we are seeing there is June being confirmed within the greater Eurozone, and London coming up to say we are expecting around the beginning of the summer. So then that is something that it bodes well for the markets. And also, for the price of gold to be really rallying over the past few days, we are seeing that affecting, the markets through the metals. And then if we go to Japan, again, we are seeing the very same story in Asia, with the markets really still rallying to the news of expectant cuts in the interest rates in the US, which might give a broader direction. Just we are seeing a slowing down within China. That's purely because, there hasn't been much communicated to state how we are going to prop up the property sector, because if that bubble bursts, the entire market would go with it. And then again, in South Africa, we are seeing the Johannesburg Stock Exchange rallying and breaking records. So it's now above 80,000. So those are records we've not seen in a very long time. And that is purely because on the background of, the metals.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Mr. Spear, for that analysis this Monday afternoon. Fortunately, we've come to the end of our program today. Thank you for joining us. This episode today was brought to you by the Eswatini National Petroleum Company. Thank you for staying with us. And Have a lovely day.